welcome this week to the Forward Podcast. This is your host, Carrie Shepard, and my co-host,
Thomas Shepard, coming to you live from the Indianapolis studio right here on Fort Road.
Is it road or drive? We don't know. This is a problem in our address.
It really is, actually, because it is drive, but right?
The
or
sign
it's the opposite.
says, yeah, the sign says road.
The sign says road. Google messed up and put
it in
drive. And
yeah.
now nothing comes to us unless we put in drive.
How can I get my Uber Eats, guys? My DoorDash.
This might start saving us money.
My Costco delivery.
Thank you, Google, for messing that up.
They knew. They're like, let's help this guy out.
Yeah, it is a big problem that we've had. It's crazy.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, hope everybody's doing great. Hope you're having a wonderful week. We are gearing up as we head into the Christmas season.
I can't believe it's December, well, the end of December 8th, going into the 9th. What?
I thought you were going to say it's the end of December, and you said the end of December.
That was a weird way to put it. Well, I was going to say December 8th, and then I'm like, well, it's almost the 9th.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway.
For a minute, you scared me. I'm like, is it the end of December?
You have no room to talk. Today when you were preaching and you called me your spouse, that was so strange, but funny.
Did you think it was
when
weird
you were
too?
like,
you
said
spouse.
something like, when my spouse said blah, blah, blah.
I looked right at you. We read each other's minds like, ooh, don't ever say that again.
But then it was funny because you're like, oh, that sounded weird when Carrie, and you continued on.
Yeah. Funny.
That was funny. Yeah. Okay. So we both had a weird comment tonight. We got it out.
Okay. We're done. It's great. It's great. We do want to address this evening, heading into, we kind of want to brighten your day and talk a little bit about some things that we believe are going to help you staying spiritually fed through a busy season.
Yes.
I kind of wanted to talk about Christmas, but I do agree with my spouse that she said there are a lot more busy seasons than just the Christmas season. If you're in ministry, you do realize this is for especially a senior pastor and assistant pastors, it's a very busy time.
Well, this is the big one too.
It's a crazy time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous with all the parties and everything. I mean, it's fun, but it's just a lot on everybody. Yeah, so this is like the busiest month of the year, I feel like.
It was you and I were talking and said, it's amazing how everyone, it's like we have 25 days of Christmas and we're going to try to fit everything in the next 25 days.
It's unbelievable.
People that you have not heard of in forever, like, hey, we should get together this month. We should do something like soon. We need a party. We need a deacon's party. We need a life stage party, a Sunday school party.
Yeah, it's like every category of your entire life has to have a Christmas
school
party.
I mean, all of our kids' parties.
It's crazy. I still have to go out and shop for the kids' school party gifts, the white elephant gifts. But I guess it's not a big deal if you only have one or two kids. Since we had 5, it's probably a little more on me than other people.
So here's how to stay spiritually fit.
Fed?
Don't have 5 kids.
Honey.
All together, all at once.
Well.
Your life's going to be crazy.
How dare you, my spouse?
Look, spouse, why don't you go into the first one?
I hate that word. I mean, I don't hate it sounds
weird.
Spouse. It sounds like mouse or grouse.
No, it's just like a biblical word that's.
Yes. Is it biblical, the word spouse?
Sure.
It is?
Yeah, why not?
I don't think that's in the Bible.
A husband cleaving to your spouse.
No, this is not in the Bible. You can go ahead with the podcast. I have to look this up.
All right. While my spouse looks up a word, we are going to talk about staying spiritually fed during a busy season. And so, first of all, we do want to say again, the reality of busy seasons of life, they're there. It's a reality. It's not going away. So we have talked about this several times of we can't fight it or it's inevitable. We just go through crazy times. And Christmas is a tough one for us, but during sports seasons for your kids or grandkids, it is crazy. And or if you're in ministry and you're a student pastor, Realize that your summers are crazy with if you still do vacation Bible schools and then camps and what say ye, spouse?
It is in the Bible.
Aha!
The word spouse. The preacher wins.
Dun dun dun.
Good
Okay,
for you.
so
Do you want to know where it's at?
I can preach it, woman.
Oh, please. I've never heard you preach out of this book, not once.
Well, it's a little awkward.
Song of Solomon.
Exactly.
You guessed it, listener. Okay, sorry. That's
Anyways,
good to know.
I have preached out of the Song of Solomon. Thank you.
When?
At a couples conference.
Well, that's
got
fitting.
a couple jokes from there. Anyways, it's inevitable that you're going to go through busy seasons. So what we want to help you with this evening is just relaying the overall message of it is vitally important to prioritize spiritual health even in busy or hectic times of your life. And I feel like Christmas is one of them, that we want to spiritualize it like, oh, we're celebrating Christ's birth, but we forget so often Christ. We go through this entire month coming right out of Thanksgiving. It's like, oh, we give thanks for 20 seconds before a meal, and then it's right back to normal. And if you're not growing, you're not succeeding in life. You have to grow in the Lord Jesus Christ. And so tonight, Kara, why don't you start us out just talking a little bit about some practical tips for staying spiritually nourished?
Yeah. So first of all, just acknowledge the challenge. I think so many times we just give up on our spiritual growth, especially during times like this in busy seasons. What?
I just went over this when you're looking up spouse. Go to the next one.
Go to the, oh, you already went over that? Sorry. Okay, so we're here. My bad.
I can't see what you're pointing at there.
My bad. Sorry. I messed it up, guys. I really wanted to reiterate that point. Make sure y'all know.
Well, you go for it.
I
if you
was
want
not.
to.
My brain can only do one thing at a time, so I was busy Googling. Okay.
Oh, my word, honey. I'm too tired for this
I know.
tonight.
Okay, I'll start. All right, so staying spiritually nourished. My point where I was supposed to start was morning minutes with God.
Come on.
Start
There
the
you
day.
go.
Yes. And this point was for me because I do like this. I start every morning as soon as the kids are gone. I have my devotions by my fireplace, and maybe that's cliche, but I think sometimes we just
You do a great
underestimate. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
you
think
do.
we underestimate the power that God can give in a short amount of time. And I'm not saying like your devotions should always be short. They can be whatever you want them to be. But I think as a busy mom right now, and probably the busiest season of our lives,
Yep.
with the kids here at home, I remember a long time ago, I challenged God, and I didn't really mean to, but just like in my heart, just saying like, I only have a few minutes a day, and it's probably, it's not good enough, and just feeling like that wasn't enough. But God had such bigger plans for me than I could ever plan for myself. I mean, God took those few minutes a day that I gave him and multiplied it. And I remember that. I still to this day remember that period of time when the twins were first born, and I felt like I had nothing to offer. God taught and grew me more than probably any other time in my life. And that's such a good memory for me.
That.
How even if you only have a few minutes in a day, give it to God. He can multiply what little we have and use it for his glory for sure.
I love it.
So that's my morning minutes.
Let's do this. How about leverage technology? Using what God has given us in this day, 2024, entering 2025, instead of complaining about it, actually using it. Things like Bible apps and podcast, audiobooks. One of our faithful listeners, Matthew, has long commutes, and he is always on the road. He's got a lot going on, and but he uses that time with audiobooks and listening to the Bible. And I feel like even though we're crazy busy in these moments, instead of sitting in the car and listening to the radio or just kind of tuning out, use it as a time to talk to God. It's a 10-15 minute drive that we can take advantage of and really begin to leverage the technology that God has given us. Getting ready in the morning, just turn on the Bible app. I use Bible.is app. What do you use?
Mine's called YouVersion.
Is that your phone near this?
I don't think so. My phone's might be here.
Yeah, that was your phone. Sorry, y'all. We're talking about technology, and Carrie's using hers quite literally in her lap.
I have to Google things sometimes.
um, anyways, what's the Bible app that you use? That you pull
YouVersion.
stuff? YouVersion.
YouVersion.
Another great, I would say, free app
Yep,
that you
it
can
is.
use. And so, hey, in the quickness, you might not have the time to get your Bible, your highlighters, your coffee just perfect in your perfect place right near your fireplace. But it doesn't mean we cannot continue to be fed spiritually.
Yes.
Take those moments, find a good podcast. I know of a good one. It's called the Ford Podcast. Turn it on, listen to it, and just get in something that's going to feed you spiritually. Mm-hmm. Give us the next one.
Here's another one about prayer. I read recently that 12 minutes a day in meditation / prayer, after 8 weeks of just 12 minutes a day, it can change your brain. Like it's measurable on a brain scan.
Wow.
The difference in your brain from just 12 minutes a day. I rose to the challenge on that and decided that I'm going to start setting a timer. Not that I can only pray for 12 minutes, but I at least want to get 12 minutes in a day because sometimes I'm a reader and sometimes I'll read more than I pray. And I'm like, oh man, I'm running out of time. Like and I'll cut my prayer time short.
Yeah.
So now I just make sure, and many times I go over obviously, but just even 12 minutes a day. And after a few weeks, it changes your brain for the good. That's so amazing.
Cool.
That's
love
amazing.
That.
Yeah.
Really awesome. Mm-hmm. Here's one. It's I'm pretty passionate about, and the church knows right now, is using the Sabbath correctly. Guarding your Sabbath as far as you're entering into a very busy season. You got a lot going on. Kids are going everywhere. For us, it's Christmas. For you, you might be listening to this in April, and so you're entering that Easter season where it's nonstop. Don't forget to take a day. God gave it to us, a day of rest. Rest in Him, replenish, worship, praise, but then also rest.
Yeah.
If you're not careful, you go into these busy seasons, and we actually the shepherds are very good at coming out on the other end very sick because we have not rested like we should. Our kids end up catching colds. And I remember last January, if you remember that, Tommy got so sick. And I think it was, we had parties and Christmas concerts and basketball and friends parties and just all this stuff nonstop. And we got to the end, and man, our kids just, we wiped us out.
Yeah.
And I think as parents, Carrie and I have learned since then, we've got to do a very good job at guarding our Sabbath.
Yes.
Keeping a day, at least half a day that we have clear. We can be replenished in God's word. We can be fed from our pastor. We can go in, we can worship, but then also we're taking that time to physically rest. We're reflecting on the week. We're reflecting at God's goodness and what He has done. Just during busy season, don't forget, if you want to be fed, guard your Sabbath.
Yeah, that's good. Another thing to remember is stay connected. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you're struggling spiritually, it doesn't matter. I'm a pastor's wife, and I've got friends around me that I know I can text or call at any time and say, hey, do you want to start a Bible app devotional with me? We can make comments after we complete the devotional for the day. Tommy and I have many times, he'll say, will you be my accountability partner, Mom? And we'll read through a book of the Bible together. Anybody, find somebody in your church, find a friend, a family member, but stay accountable to somebody if you're struggling. I don't necessarily think this is something you have to do all the time, but in those busy times and when you feel weak, like I am struggling to even fit in a time of meditation every day. That's not healthy. You've got to have a few minutes a day where you allow your brain to connect with God and to connect with His Spirit. And so stay connected, find an accountability partner, and stick to it.
That's good. Have you ever had an accountability partner in those areas?
I just said.
Who?
I said Tommy. For one,
you did
remember?
Say that.
And then I have friends.
Remember?
Remember? It was just 30 seconds ago.
When you talk, or when I speak, do you sometimes tune out, like think of the next thing?
I do daydream sometimes because I'm thinking of what I'm going to say.
Right. I don't necessarily daydream.
Sorry.
I was going to say, I am thinking of how do I counter or come in next to this So we have smooth transitions.
I'm
wow,
not
we're so good at that.
I'm not daydreaming at all.
Yeah,
ever.
you are. That's why I got done talking about acknowledge the challenge. And you jump in, you're like, okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge the challenge. I'm like, I just said that.
I said in my defense, I was looking up the spouse.
No, I'm with you.
You're next.
So, and the next one is going to be stay connected. We need to, I'm just kidding. You just did that one.
Yeah.
Right?
I did stay connected. You are intentional planning.
So we're going to talk about intentional planning. And if you don't plan, it's never going to get done.
That's good.
I really believe that the reason we really do not stay connected with God is because we do not intentionally plan to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We have to plan to grow. You have to plan to be in church. You have to plan your devotions. If you don't, it's not going to get done. Yeah, isn't it amazing that everything in our life gets planned except for our spiritual growth? Kids got to go tomorrow. They've got to be at school. We know what time. We got to pick them up. What time? We got to be at something goes on tomorrow.
A party.
We got to be at a party tomorrow. Okay. We know what time. We plan. Yeah. You get them. Okay, text friends. Okay, the Harveys are going to pick them up. Then we're going to do this. Everything is planned except we never plan for devotions, and we really should. Even in a busy season, Carrie started us out by talking about, even if it's just a couple minutes, make sure you plan that out. Okay, yes. I've got 5 minutes. I'm going to turn my phone off, take my watch off, and I'm going to give you, God, 5 minutes. I'm going to read through this proverb. I'm going to pray. I'm going to talk to you. And then, God, throughout my day, I want you to be with me. Yeah. My plan today is, God, you to be with me every step of the way. Make sure that we reflect weekly on spiritual practices and even adjust time where it needed. That means, okay, maybe cut something out. Maybe I don't need to watch the end of this episode that I missed last night because I fell asleep. Okay, cut it out. Okay, maybe I don't need to sit here for 30 minutes and scroll through TikTok. Okay, cut it out.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, make sure that we're intentional on planning, because it's going to be a busy season, but I still, God, want to talk to you. And so I'm going to set this time aside. Doesn't mean the more time you set aside, the more spiritual you are. It's just a relationship with God is walking with him every day.
Yeah, and keeping that priority. And then stay inspired. And I love this one. This is near and dear to my heart because for those of you out there who are like me and get bored easily, and
this is so you.
I do not stay on track. I don't really love consistency. I admire it, but it's not my strong point. And so inspiration is really what keeps me motivated. Get a good book. You don't necessarily have to do the same thing every day for devotionals.
Right.
I know we've mentioned like jumping on a Bible app and you can do a specific, maybe a week or two devotional with a friend where you comment back and forth. Maybe you like a new devotional book, a deep dive. Change it up and don't be afraid to change it up, but stay inspired. Yeah. I know I think I revealed this on the podcast several episodes ago, how I used to drop the kids off at school. This was before I worked. And I would drive out to a park near our house and I would have my devotions every morning at a park all by myself. And I never even told you about that.
No, I was just saying, I did not know about that for a long time.
And I did that for months and never even told a soul, which is actually kind of scary. If something had happened to me, no one would know where I was.
I just a park.
Just not thought of that. But it inspired me and it wore off after a while. I got tired of it and I went on to something else. But inspiration really is the vehicle that God uses in my heart and in my life to find new joy in him and new interest in his word. And so grab a book, grab a partner, grab an accountability, do something to keep yourself inspired. Sometimes it's just buying a new Bible, something that you can mark up or, whatever, anything like that.
Keeping a journal.
Keeping a journal. My friend for my birthday got me a really cool devotional book and it was beautiful, but there was space to write in it. And so I enjoyed having my devotions and then writing my thoughts underneath it. And none of this is groundbreaking or extremely original, but it's just a refresher to remind you that these things are okay. This is normal, natural human life. So if you need a little bit of extra inspiration, kind of get out of your head, get out of your routine, that's a nice thing to try as well.
And I like this thought. I think we ought to end here is just make sure that we have a good perspective check,
Mm-hmm.
that busyness is temporal, eternal priorities are lasting.
Mm-hmm.
And we can get so caught up in the hustle and bustle, even of this season, Care, that we forget this is not our kingdom. This is not our world. We're not here forever.
Yeah.
We're just here for a little while. We're pilgrims. We're just passing through.
Mm-hmm.
And what's done for Christ is really what's going to matter for all of eternity.
Yeah.
And so let's make sure that even through these busy times, it's not like, okay, God, I'll be back in a month and we'll pick up where we left off. No, let's make sure we're including him each and every day. He wants to walk with us and talk with us. And he wants to, I'm starting to sing that song. And he walks with me. And he tells, oh, is that your phone?
No.
Hello.
What is going on?
Sorry, y'all. Anyways, I don't know.
Our mic's cut off.
Check test. Is it you?
Test. Yeah.
No. You're cut off?
I am. Oh, there I am. Are you on?
Bye, honey. The computer's saying that. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties tonight. But anyways,
goodness.
I was about to sing In the Garden Alone. Y'all are about to hear my one and only solo.
God was like, nah.
God's like, don't do it, son. Spare them.
He's like, I'm just going to take care of this right now.
Well, anyways, hey, through this busy season, just know you got prayer partners in us. Make sure you're staying in the Word of God. Stay fed. Keep your Sabbath. Make sure that you are holding on to it. Rest when you need to. Yeah. It's going to be a great Christmas season.
We're excited to stay with you guys through this busy season. And just know we are here. We're praying for you. We're thankful for your interest in this podcast. My mic's cutting out and it's time to go.
I'm sorry about that.
Thanks for listening, you guys. We'll catch you next week.
Bye, y'all.